Welcome, deeply beloved viewers. Thanks for tuning in. So we're going to have a look at what the flatulent fascist is up to. So for those who may be new to this channel, please understand, no, I am not fair and balanced. You're right. I'm prejudiced against Trump. That is so true. And I think he earns it. So if you want, someone to tell you good things about Trump, please, off you go and find another channel. Best of luck with that. Okay, so for the rest of us who are used to his, toxic behaviour, we will push on with our regular readings. So I'm going to ask a few questions today in relation to what's happening for Trump right now. And starting with what's happening in his headspace. What's happening in Trump's headspace? Oops. I'll tell you what fell out in a minute. Oh, by the way, I'm using the Thoth deck. A deck I keep specially for Trump and equally nasty people. It's a fab deck, but I wouldn't use it for normal personal readings or anything. Okay, so Trump right now. All right. What fell out was, yes, I'm back on the bed, viewers. Okay, so what fell out? The Princess of Wands. Now, the question was what's going on in his head right now. I'm seeing this as Ivanka, and I think this is not good news for Trump. Let's see what else comes out. I'll explain why. Yes. Oh dear, oh dear. Yeah. Okay, so this tells a very interesting story, I think, viewers. Okay, I do think this is Ivanka. Can you see there the female figure soaring up, the tiger, with its tail lashed around her throat? Now, apart from the fact that Ivanka's brothers actually shoot endangered species for entertainment, and can't you imagine, they'd go on those safaris for rich playboys where they actually sedate the animals so you make sure that they get a hunting trophy. It's disgusting. They could be spending millions saving species, but no. Isn't that typical that they do that? Anyway, the tiger just reminds me of them shooting tigers and elephants because they're such awful, awful creatures. The Trump boys, I mean, not the tigers. Okay, I think this is Ivanka. I think it's got to the stage with the Mueller inquiry where Ivanka has no choice. If she's going to save her sort of mutant family unit, she's got enough going on with Jared and her own criminal behaviour. The only way she's going to get out is spilling the beans, and I think Trump knows this now. I don't think he ever thought it would happen, but I think he knows this now. It's the first time I've ever thought that. What's behind it all? Yes, the Ten of Pentacles, the wealth card, the family money card, the intergenerational family money. It's one of the reasons I think it's connected to Ivanka. He next gets the Seven of Pentacles. It's illusion and delusion in the Rider-Waite. It's out and out failure in the Thoth deck. Failure. He's beginning to realise he's failed in this whole presidential endeavour. He's just sort of coming to realise on one level that it's over. He might be gone very quickly or not. I don't particularly think it'll be very soon. But the game is up and the enterprise has failed, trying to run the United States as a business, so he and his filthy criminal children. Oh, I promised I wouldn't use the word children. His adult criminal offspring. He's realised failure. I think he's always thought, until now-ish, he'd get out of it and he'd still have money. I was president, so he could still milk that, you know, for a golf course in Azerbaijan or something. But it's a complete failure. And he can't do anything about it. He's stuck. He's just hanging in and he's stuck. In his head, which has never been the most scintillating of places to spend any time, he's actually even stuck in his head now. I think because of the amphetamine habit and other things, and just the fact he's one of those buzzy up guys, he's always talked himself up. There'll be a dark moment and then he'll go, oh no, it'll be all right, you know, everything will be great, you know, I'm just born to be great and it's going to be fantastic. And manically whip himself up. I think he's actually realising the worst, and I think he's quite depressed. Okay, so I think, so he's feeling stuck for the first time. What about his legal representation? I want to have a look at that. Because Giuliani, who really should be put out to pasture, you know, in some facility in Florida, if the best he can do is Rudy Giuliani at this time, he's in deep shit. Giuliani's just frothing off at the mouth, not making sense, not talking a legal line at all. He's just an embarrassment to the nation. So if he's the best, Trump's got, look out. So Trump's legal team. What are his lawyers thinking? Because he's just been on a bender hiring more. I'm sure they all had to be dragged kicking and screaming. Trump's legal situation, not his situation, his team. Trump's legal team. Okay. Oh, fascinating. Oh, all right. Okay. So it's vaguely amusing. If it wasn't so serious, it would be amusing. So the moon, a complex card that I'll reduce for now to lies and deceit. And what form does it take? The lawyers that he's still got are going to go, this is the victory card. Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Look, you're going to win this, Donald. You're going to win this. Lies and deceit about a victory, even a way out. Because how could anyone seriously say, oh, you're going to beat impeachment? You're going to beat the emoluments charges, you're going to beat the conspiracy charges, you're going to beat the money laundering charges, the obstruction of justice. Yeah, look, it's all good. It's so good, Donald. You've no idea. Really? You can have those conversations at this point in time? I doubt it very much. So they're just lying through their teeth. The hanged man turns up again. They're caught. They are stuck, just hanging in. Then mini outcome, this is his legal team, lust, meaning at this point, even though it's not a Pentacles card, they are only in it for the money, because you certainly wouldn't be in it for the prestige, would you? Lust for power. Yes, well, some people will take on power at any price, even being infamous rather than obscure. Oh, God. So, what else do we want to know about Trump himself? Okay. And his relationship with Whitaker. Because I think what's happened is for the first year, certainly, and almost 2 years, he was able to bring out another tame person to do something, a major role in the White House or at government level. And the good ones have left, and even the tame ones have left, and he's only got crap to pick from now. Whitaker is not a brilliant lawmaker with an incisive, marvellous mind, and, you know, a impulse to justice. He's just a shonky sports jock, you know, who happened to get a law degree, God knows how, probably because he was on the wrestling team or something. Probably his parents gave a donation to the college. I don't know. But from what I've read on him, he's not a competent, oh, probably competent, but he's not a star lawyer. And he's certainly not up to the job, even acting. So, what does that Trump's relationship with Whitaker? Okay, so his relationship, he gets a 9 and a 10, so the relationship with Whitaker is coming to an end almost as soon as it started. Right, so it started with the 10 of Cups, which is Trump being really pleased, you know, smacking his chops, going, I've got someone tame I can bring in here who said all those things about, it's a bit like Barr. He picked them purely because they said a sitting president couldn't be indicted or something in their view. They do not get to rule on that, by the way, Donald. It was a view that Whitaker had. Trump thought Whitaker would be really useful in that role. So he was ecstatic and thought it was really clever to come up with that appointment. So, what has happened since then? Well, the universe has stepped in. The card that's usually the world is the universe in the Thoth deck. And I think that's an interesting distinction because that's exactly what's happened. If you're interested in astrology or tarot or any of the psychic sort of processes, most readers have been saying this is part of a bigger thing that the universe is trying to bring to the United States. Basically, the nation became so corrupt. It's not unique in that, but became so corrupt with lobbyists and so forth, but also then people took their eye off what was going on and just let it go on and stopped being bothered to vote or all of that, not holding politicians accountable. I stress again, I'm not just hammering the US. This is happening in many countries. But the universe has a plan. The Five of Wands, this is now directly under the happy card for Whitaker and Trump, and they're already having conflict. But it's a special kind of conflict with the Five of Wands. I think Whitaker, it has to be Whitaker being internally conflicted in his mind because Trump doesn't have any internal conflict. Everything's great in his mind. You know, he doesn't think past, am I hungry? Do I want another Diet Coke? Or bring in the Playboy bunnies? You know, that is the scope of Donald's world. So he's not so much conflicted. He's worried now in a way he wasn't before, but I think this is Whitaker going, how long till I can get out of this job, right? And that is what he is praying for. I think this card, the Nine of Cups, hopes and wishes, this is what Whitaker has on his mind. When can I get out of here? Not surprising. All right, so Trump's more or less forgotten Whitaker. This is another thing I want to share with you viewers. This is my intuitive feel on this. He got him in because, remember, he wanted a conduit into the Mueller investigation. Once he heard what Whitaker had to say, which was basically along the lines of this is a massive investigation that cannot be stamped on, that cannot be wound back, Trump, in Trump fashion, went, well, that's him out of the way. I don't think he gives Whitaker a thought. So then he turned to Barr, because Barr was a more senior player, pushing him. But now he's hearing that Barr actually is going to uphold the law. Oh, What a strange thing to do for a lawyer, uphold the law. So Trump's not happy with that. All right. Now, Trump and the kids. I'm going to do a card for Trump and one for each of the demons spawn. So, first of all, Trump's relationship with Don Jr. Okay, so let me just keep shuffling. I want to give the cards a really good mix-up. So Trump and the children. Oh, I keep reverting, not the children. The co-conspirators. Trump and the co-conspirators. Okay. All right. First card, which is Trump, is, okay, the Ten of Cups. In the Thoth deck, this card, satiety, meaning just drenched in opulence. You know, this is, he sees this, we're looking at Trump the father, so we're looking at him, I gave them everything. I gave them this lush life. You know, they owe me. This is how he sees fatherhood. Interesting. Okay, so how will I do that? I think I'll do 2 cards for each of them. So what Don Jr. thinks of his father and what his father thinks of him. Okay, Don Jr. All right, now, what Don Jr. thinks of his father, this is, if you like, it's one of the major arcana cards. It's the Judgment card. Don Jr., who arguably is the least likable of the 3 main ones, obviously I'm not going to read on Baron or Tiffany, so we're only talking the first 3. This is a Judgment card, so he's actually judging his father in this. This is the Judgment card. So it's like, what are you going to do to save us, Dad? You know, you dragged us into this, you know, the family business. What are you going to do to save us now? Judgment is coming down, and he's judging the father. What Trump thinks of Don Jr., the 6 of Wands, he's got conflicted emotions about Don Jr., but he thinks that he'll win. He thinks, basically he thinks he can give him a pardon and he'll be fine. Right? That's what he thinks. Right. I think it's a little more complex, Donald. So, we'll do Erik next. Poor Frodo. Mind you shouldn't feel sorry for him either. He was a willing and complicit criminal. We've got to remember this, viewers. Okay, so Erik Trump. Erik Trump. What does he think of his father, and what does his father think about him? Erik Trump. Erik Trump. Okay, so here we have the Donald card. Ooh, strife there. All right. Now, the key card in relation to Donald the father for Erik is the 5 of Wands, which we just got in another context. He's conflicted, Erik this is conflicted internally about how he feels about his father. There's the age-old cultivated loyalty. You know, you stand by family, particularly stand by your father, and the feeling we've been sold down the river by a narcissistic fuckwit. Okay, so to say he's mentally conflicted is an understatement. in relation to how he feels about the father, Wheel of Fortune, I think Erik is more fatalistic and perhaps more realistic than the other two siblings. I think he thinks, this is the card of destiny, we can't do any more to protect ourselves. What's going to happen will happen. But he's very conflicted about his father. What does Donald think about Erik? Hanged Man. He hasn't got a strong opinion about Erik. He's waiting for an opinion, in other words. It is another perspective with the Hanged Man, but my feel on this is he's suspending judgment on Erik, not for the good reasons, but because I don't think he thinks about him much. He thinks about the other two. He thinks about Don Jr. He thinks about Ivanka, which is where we're going next. As for his grandchildren, would he recognise them? If they were in a room of 30 other young kids, would he even recognise his grandchildren? I don't think he's got the scope for that sort of second generational love, so I don't think that's part of his thinking. It only extends really to Don Jr. and Ivanka. You know, if someone ran into Donald Trump in an elevator and said, "How many kids do you have, Donald?" the first number out of your head, he'd have to stop and count, because I don't think they all register, and they certainly don't register equally. Okay, Ivanka. This will be interesting. Donald and Ivanka. Donald and Ivanka. Now, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh, wow. All right. Now, the card that represents Donald's fathering of Ivanka is the Eight of Cups, indolence, lazy. He was a lazy dad. He just relied on being able to splash out money on them. And because of his various disorders, it certainly wasn't emotion, even though the cups are traditionally emotion. This is different. Again, it's got that dripping energy like some of the Toff deck have with the cups. Doting, but lazy. Doting, but lazy dad. Feels right. Now, what does she think of him? She's unsure. And this is, in the Toff, change. She is changing in relation to him. So this does not bode well for all the political reasons we've been talking about in other readings. Oh dear. And she's juggling. She's manipulating and juggling. So I think we're going to see some of the more Scorpio aspects of Ivanka emerging in relation to these court cases. How does he think specifically about her? This is almost sad. If I thought they were real people with real emotions, I'd be feeling a bit sad for them. But it's the Nine of Swords. He is absolutely devastated by what she does. She feels she's got no choice. And she's probably right about that, you know. She basically will turn on him to save her own lily white ass and to try and broker a deal for her cross-dressing husband. So she feels she doesn't have a choice. She does him in, I think, with I'm not going to say just the Mueller investigations, more importantly, the Southern District of New York, like the stuff on the RICO laws, all the other stuff. This is more New York, and he is so wounded by this. Actually, he will never recover from that, apart from everything else that is in the destiny cards for Donald Trump. I think it's the betrayal by Ivanka that will actually destroy the man. I think the ghost of the man will go through endless court cases for the term of his natural life. They'd be backed up for years now. So if he doesn't go to jail, and I don't see him in jail, he may go to some health facility because of a genuine breakdown or because of a feigned breakdown to avoid jail. But outside of that, it's court, court, court. But this is what's going to really do the long-term emotional damage. Well, no radical insights there, viewers. It's sort of what we expected, wasn't it? But we're just updating. We're trying to keep on top of all these changes. They are, at this stage, unindicted, which is not where you want to be, because it means the hundreds of other people that Mueller has interviewed, it's about you, Don Jr., Erik and Ivanka. So the fact that you haven't been indicted yet is not good. So I hope you're wearing good outfits night and day, because you never know when you're going to be arrested and filmed. My advice to them at this stage. Bye for now.